I study interruption management. But what exactly does that mean? How should I explain it? Have you ever tried to concentrate on your work when a colleague comes over with a question, and just when you get back to your task, your phone rings? And finally, when you manage to concentrate again, your boss pings you on chat. Oh, don't even get me started. I could talk about this all day. That's how almost all the conversation went when I told people about my PhD research. Everyone had their own stories and experiences about workplace interruptions. Back in the 20th century, researchers only focused on the effects of interruptions in high-risk jobs like driving or surgery. But thanks to the rapid evolution of the communication technologies and the fast-paced nature of our world, affects everyone. Our brain gets overloaded because we are juggling not just our own tasks, but the questions and requests of others. The concept of attention residue was introduced by Sophie Leroy in 2009. Her research focuses on a very important and interesting question. What happens in our brain when we constantly have to switch between tasks? Her research shows that our brain actually struggles with this switching process. Even when we move on to a new task, a part of our attention stays stuck in the previous one, instead of fully focusing on what we are doing right now. And this attention residual, let's say leftover attention, easily occurs when we leave a task unfinished, or when we get interrupted in the middle of a task. So, our brain doesn't like to let it go. It keeps these unfinished tasks active in the background, which means that we have fewer mental resources available for the task in front of us. And that's why we make more mistakes. And the frustration, it's real. You start the day with a plan, determined to complete a task, and by the end of the day, you have barely done any progress. Very frustrating, isn't it? So that's why we think that remote work is great. At home, we won't be interrupted. But is it true? Yes, for sure, our colleagues aren't physically there, just family or pets. But what about virtual interruptions, the digital ones? Those are there. We don't eliminate them. We could, but we don't want to. The moment we hear Outlook pings, we feel the urge to check our inbox immediately. But do those emails have to be read immediately? Cannot they wait 1 or 2 hours until we finish what we are working on? And do we really miss something out if we don't check the fun chat channel right away? And this is the tricky question. Do we only check our inbox or chat when we hear the notification? We are not only interrupted by others, we are more and more interrupt ourselves. Yes, self-interruption is a real thing. Once I was traveling on train from Pécs to Budapest. And it's a 3-hour train ride. And at some point, I couldn't help but notice a girl sitting in front of me. Or rather, I mostly noticed her laptop screen. She was clearly studying for a midterm exam. Lecture slides were open on the screen from BME. And this is what caught my attention. After every second or third slide, she switched to something else, to social media or emails or whatever popped into her mind. And then, after a few minutes scrolling, she switched back to the slides. And this cycle repeated again and again. And I remember thinking that presentation wouldn't have been more than 30 minutes of focused studying. But for her, even 3 hours travel wasn't enough to get through it. Because she was never really just studied. We don't allow ourselves to focus only on one task. Instead, we glance emails, change tabs, or scroll through social media, whatever, but we are becoming addicted. Our brain desires constant stimulation. Can we really be like that? Is that what's going on with us? Can you sit through a conference without checking your phones? Have you checked yours? Or it's not just about work. Can we truly be present at the playground, focusing on a child? Or truly listen to a friend who needs us? So let's put down our phones, at least sometimes. Switch it off or turn it off or leave it at home. Learn to monotask. That sounds great, but I know it's not easy. So that's why I came up with a little helper for you to get us started. I call it Take a Nap program with double P. Each letter stands for a little step. Let's start with the beginning, with notice. Start by noticing when you interrupt yourself. And this is the first step, becoming aware of whether you are a self-interrupter or not. If you are, then take a next step, which is analyze. Ask yourself, what kind of activity am I doing? And what do I switch to? And what are those activities when it actually matters to stay focused and uninterrupted? Then let's go on to the next one. P, the first P is for plan. Plan. How would you like to shut out those interruptions? There are many ways to do it, so now I just mention a few of them. You can create a no interruption zone at home or at the workplace as well. No phone, no notifications, no interruption. Or you can check your emails and chats only at fixed times, like in the good old days of dial-up internet. Many of you don't even remember that time, right? Or you can even try this. If you catch yourself self-interrupting twice, that can be the signal for you to take a proper break. Because for many of us, self-interrupting is a sign of tiredness. And unlike self-interruption, breaks are good for us. But this is a key. Make that break a proper choice, a conscious one. So take the dog for a walk or sit outside with a coffee, but use that break to truly recharge your brain. And also, you can try some time management techniques like Pomodoro. It can also work for you. And then the last one, this is the hardest one. You have to actually try it and practice it. And if it doesn't work, then try another technique. But don't give up and keep going until you feel natural. Notice, analyze, plan, and practice. I believe that by consciously reducing the interruptions in our world, in our life, we can work more effectively. And we can also rediscover the joy of focused work. The ability to concentrate is one of our most valuable assets, so let's protect it. Thank you.